Now, before we get into the video here, there's something I want to mention. I'm not going to do any lazy fat jokes or anything. I just want to make that known going through. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. I've been getting a lot of requests over the last couple months to talk about Amberlynn Reid, and I honestly have been meaning to, but I finally decided to look into her, and I wanted to talk about some things that weirdly don't get brought up, and one thing that's very, very recent, so it has been. We're going to get into that one. Amberlynn Reid is a YouTuber who started her channel at the age of 22, mostly as a weight loss channel. And for a little while, people were invested mostly in her weight loss to see what's going to happen. But over time, as more and more, more and more things happened, started to be no progress in the weight loss, and more weight gain. Notable instances of her starting new diets and getting into those and then dropping them, sometimes not even after a single day, really showed her character off to her audience. Which is to say, people didn't expect much from her past these events. Now, there are a lot of things to talk about with Amberlynn Reid, and if you want to go through, honestly, pretty much every single one of them, Kiwi Farms has a pretty good article that I'm going to link down in the description. It's below the Twitter and Patreon. But I wanted to hit on a few topics that I haven't seen people bring up too much recently that I'm interested in talking about. The first one we're going to talk about is the rape allegations. I really wish I could start a video off with less depressing topics. During one video that Amberlynn put out, which was her talking about her being in an abusive relationship, Amberlynn decides to claim that her ex-girlfriend, now at the time who has transitioned into a male, she claimed that was abusive and had raped her, and we're going to go through some of the clips of that, and we're going to go through some of the clips of her ex as he refutes the points. So, well, let's jump into that. Now, something I want to bring up, I am going to cut this and most of these videos down, because most of Amberlynn and the related videos to this, these are like 20-30 minute long fucking videos, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to put the whole thing in there. If you want full context, links will be down below to every single video I used. But with that, on the video now.
So, I was recently talking to someone who had no idea that I was in an abusive relationship before, and they told me how girls who stay in abusive relationships are just lazy and that they like to be abused. My first live-in relationship was with a girl named Cassidy. I feel very strongly about this, and I feel like it's okay for me to say her name because she's transgender now, so she's not Cassidy no longer, so I'm able to say her name because she's a once was person. Like, Cassidy is no longer here anymore, obviously. I'm not gonna say his new name because we're talking about her. Transgender talk is too confusing, so we're just gonna leave it as that. So
now, Amberlynn, here's something interesting. You only decide to come out about this now. Why? Like, seriously, why? Why wouldn't you have come out about this sooner? You know, you've had a YouTube career for a long time, and this seems like just something you pop out of the blue. That's something we're going to talk about soon, just so you know. Just keep that in your head. This will come up later.
Her name was Cassidy, and it was first long distance, and I was living in Oklahoma for a bit of that time when it was long distance. By the way, she lived in Arizona, but when I first started talking to her, I was in California, but then I moved to Oklahoma. And I was going to Arizona for just a month to visit her. Like, we were in love, thoroughly in love. We were together for, I want to say, about a year and a half before I went there and stayed with her for a month. So I was there for 2 weeks, and I called my mom and I was like, oh my god, I miss you so much, because I was living with her and my grandma at the time. And on the phone, she told me, your grandma said you can't come back to Oklahoma. You can't come live with us. And I was like, what? Where do I go? I was really scared. I had literally nowhere to live. And Cassidy's mom was pissed because I think she knew right then and there she's going to have to take on, me. Because I had nowhere to go. I didn't have a job because I was in Arizona just for a month. So I didn't have a job. I didn't have anywhere to go. I had no car. I had nothing. And I just got done being in a foster care. So I was like, Oh my gosh.
Well, of course, Amber, you can't entirely blame her mother, right? You're pretty much abandoned on her doorstep, someone who's 18, you know, right there on the doorstep. Anybody would be considerably upset, and I really don't think that you can blame her mom. The least you could do is say, hey, I'm going to get a job, I'm going to try to help out with the bills or something. Did you do it, Amber? That's a good question. You probably didn't. Yes, you had no job at the time. You were just abandoned on the doorstep. I cannot blame Cassidy's mother for being upset. You sound very pissed off when you say this, because you were dropped on her doorstep. It's a very reasonable complaint to have. I feel like anybody would complain about that. I'd complain about that if someone pretty much said to their daughter, hey, you're gonna have to live where your girlfriend is. It's fucked. It is fucked. And I'm sorry, Amber. It sounds like a shitty situation. It really does. The foster care system fucking sucks in the United States. But if that's not an excuse for not trying to even like go to a shelter nearby temporarily until you can get a job and then coming in, I can almost guarantee you didn't do that. But what do I know? Let's go on to the next clip.
I still remember the first time she ever got physical. We had a laundry room in the apartment complex we were living in, and we were walking to the laundry room, and I remember back then I would do our laundry for us. I didn't really like people touching my laundry. I still really don't, but I let Destiny do it because I trust her. But I had this weird thing with like people touching my laundry, whatever. So she was helping me carry, I guess, laundry to the laundry room. I don't remember really what we were arguing about, but I know it must have been something really stupid, probably about the laundry, blah blah blah. And she was carrying her clothes, I'm pretty sure I remember, and I was like carrying mine. And then I want to say this happened, it's been like 6-7 years, so memories are kind of like fading here and there. But I do remember us being on the sidewalk, and I remember her dropping what was in her hands, and she took me by the throat and she started yelling at me. I was like, what? And I think at the time, what shocked me the most was the fact that she was doing it in such a public place. Like, there was nobody around that I remember. And like, I was like crying. Like, she literally was having me by the throat, just like screaming at me. And then, you know, she let go, obviously. And I think I was so shocked and so numb to the situation that I kind of just let it be. Honestly, that is the truth. I didn't ever think twice about it, like, oh my god, is she gonna start like abusing me? Nothing like that. Which is weird because of the childhood that I came from, right? But we just went on. And she never really did that again. She would randomly like pinch me if I made her really mad. And I didn't even think anything of that then either. Honestly, I didn't at all.
Something to point out here, if somebody is doing this kind of shit to you, leave them immediately. Talk with an authority figure, someone you respect or trust or anything. But I can't get over how this clip, and as you go through and as we see, Amberlynn Reid's eyes just fucking dart around everywhere, and she's like bouncing around and looking at a whole bunch of other shit instead of looking at the camera, and it's so obnoxious. I really hate this kind of shit, and I hate it when people do that. Now, something interesting. Amberlynn says that she choked her and would pinch her and all that. That's something we need to remember for later on in the video, so just remember that as we go through this, and we'll talk about that more as it comes up, because really, I want to get through Amberlynn's awful video, so.
And I want to say, we've been together for about 3 years now at this point, and I feel myself slowly, I stopped being like sexually attracted to her. I loved her though. I know that. I don't know if it was like a best friend thing, but I stopped just feeling that like connection, I guess. So when it came to intimacy, I want to say about a little bit after like 2 years of being together, it started to dwindle. It was definitely my fault. This is when things got really bad. I don't even know how to share this, but I'm gonna have to. Destiny knows all about this, by the way. Like, it's something like I really needed to let her know about me. Okay, so Cassidy was very sexually strived. Like, is that even a thing? I don't know. She really thought I was attractive. She really was sexually attracted to me, and she always wanted to, like, have sex. And I stopped feeling that for her. Like, I didn't tell her that. I would just, like, make up things like, oh, I don't feel good, or, oh, I'm on my period, like, even though I wasn't. And just little things like that. And it made her fucking pissed. When you say no to someone, whether you've been with them for like a month or whether you've been with them for like 6 years, if you say no to a sexual act, your partner should accept that. That is where I firmly stand. But she didn't. And she would literally sit there and beg me. At first it was like cute little begs, like, oh, come on, baby, whatever. But then as time gradually went on, it became, you're gonna fucking touch me whether you like it or not. And I was like, you can't force me. And little did I know she can. That's when she started punching me a lot. She would aim for my belly. I don't think she ever actually hit me in the face. Her favorite spot was my stomach. She would punch me really hard in my stomach. She'd punch me like around right here a lot. She would punch me on my arms, and she would continuously do it until I agreed to make love to her or have sex, whatever you want to consider it. So not only was I being physically abused, but I was pretty much being like raped. That is what I consider it, because I continuously would say no to her. It was such like a bad mixture of everything. And this would go on. This would happen probably weekly. Here are the tears. I was trying to be strong for this video.
Now, see, I'm very much of a belief that if you're in a relationship with someone, you should be honest with them, even saying that, hey, I don't feel sexually attracted to you, or I'm not in the mood to have sex. Making excuses like that is just lying to your partner. It is deceit. I feel like you should be honest with them. Say, I'm having an issue with intimacy with you. I'm having an issue with wanting to be intimate with you. And that is an understandable thing to talk with someone, you know? Yeah, that's how you in your relationship, you speak with someone, you talk with them, you work with them. That's a smart thing to do. That's a right thing to do. Of course, the partner should always respect if you say no, but talking with them, saying, hey, I'm not feeling as attracted to you as I was prior, is a good thing. You need to talk in a relationship. Otherwise, you're adding a lie, you're fueling something negative into the relationship, which isn't what you want when you love someone or supposedly love someone. You don't want them to go through this kind of shit, and they rightfully probably don't want you to go through this kind of shit. So yes, I can understand why Cassidy, or Casey later, sorry, would be upset, and understandably so. You know, it's not unreasonable to think why someone would be upset that their partner's lying to them, saying if they don't want to have sex. I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to question. Amber, though, she has a notable history of lying, so we're gonna get into some more of this.
A lot of people would ask, why didn't I hit her back? Why didn't I leave her in that, in that stance? I loved her. At the time, I was confused. I didn't love her, like, as a girlfriend. I just loved her as a person. She was that first true relationship I was in, and we had such amazing times that I just felt like maybe one day she'll stop being like this. Maybe one day she'll stop forcing me to have sex with her. One day she'll stop hitting me. And as many times as I felt like, okay, maybe things will change, it just kept getting worse and worse after that moment. Like, not only was she hitting me because I wouldn't have sex with her, she was hitting me if I wouldn't do the dishes on time. She would push me up against counters. And one thing she never did was she never, like, called me names. Never. And I was, like, living in that, like, moment of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me type of thing. Where it's like, okay, hitting people, blah, 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 but if, like, she started emotionally hurting me, then I should leave. I was just in a very unhealthy situation. And as time went on, I really wanted to leave.
Well, yes, Amber, you should have left, or you should have talked with her and explained, hey, I'm not cool with this. You have to stop. The way you're making it seem is that you never said anything, you never tried to make it stop, which is confusing. Why wouldn't you at least attempt that? Or why wouldn't you go to someone and say, hey, she's abusing me? Like her mother. We're going to bring that up in a little bit. Well, you're going to bring that up in a little bit. I'm not, but you're going to bring it up in a little bit. And you should have went to someone, anyone. I don't understand why you wouldn't have went to anybody.
That was when I met Crystal online. It just kind of fatefully happened. Like, I was not looking for a relationship. I was in a relationship. Me and Crystal became really good friends. And then I started realizing, like, Crystal is what I need in my life, not Cassidy. Cassidy is abusive. And not only is she abusive physically, but she's abusive, like, sexually. And that is not okay. And
yes, Crystal. Now, something I'm probably going to hit on more in the next video that I do about Amberlynn Reid. Amberlynn Reid has a ton of ex-girlfriends, and they're pretty much like different eras of how she acts and behaves. Crystal was weird from what I've heard. She pretty much tried to like buy Crystal's love. Like, there's a lot going on, and it's a similar thing how pretty much she freeloaded off Crystal's parents the entire time. So there's a lot there. But yes, Amberlynn has sagas much like, Darkside Phil or Chris Chan has sagas, where it's like, she fucks up so much that it's essentially a whole different era for the channel. So yeah, Crystal's someone we'll talk about later, but I just wanted to bring that up because I know someone's gonna get on my ass if I didn't mention it, so I figured I would there.
I remember one time particular when we weren't arguing about anything like sexual or whatever. I don't remember what the argument was. I know her mom was home. Her mom was in her room, a very small apartment, so we were like arguing in whispers, like, so she couldn't hear. But I'm pretty sure she got the gist of it because Cassidy started hitting me really hard. It was probably one of the worst ever, and I was kind of just like, blocking myself, or at least trying to. And Cassidy's mom came in, and all she said is, "Cassidy, what are you doing?" And then walked away.
You should have said, while she's saying, your daughter's hitting me. Your daughter's abusing me. You're going to bring this up in like a minute. I just want to mention this though, but there's so many things you could have said, Amber. If you said that, you guys were being quiet or couldn't hear the argument, how would someone be able to get the gist of an argument? When you're being quiet, you're whisper yelling or whatever at them. What are you trying? What's the point you're trying to make here, Amber? It's baffling how you didn't try to just say, hey, your daughter's abusing me. You didn't try with that. And Amber, you're a very loud girl. I've seen some of your later videos. You could have shouted out, stop hitting me, or anything. But you didn't. You should have. Of course, the video that comes out later is a lot more damning about you. So, but anyways, we'll continue with this shitty video that Amberlynn did.
To answer the question of like, why didn't I ever hit her back? Because my brother used to hit me a lot when I was a teenager, when I was like 16. My brother is a year younger than me, but he's strong. Like, he might be my little brother, but he's my big brother, And he would hit me a lot. And I know it's because he has anger issues. He saw how my dad was with my mom and this and that. And that's just what he did. And he would emotionally fuck me up in the head. He did a lot. Like, I felt like my own brother hated me for a while there, but that's a whole other subject. But when he first started hitting me, I would hit him back for like self-defense. And it just made him more angry and more mad. And the punches got worse, the bruises got darker, and I didn't want that with Cassidy. I was scared. I was way too scared to hit back, so I never did.
I'm very much of a belief that if someone hits you, you hit them back. It's the only way to make some people learn, because some people will hit you, and if you take it, they'll hit you again. And again, that's not a way to live life. And if someone that you're in love with hits you, I'm sorry, I'm of the belief that you should get out of there immediately. You know, if a woman hit me, a woman I'm dating hits me, I will never see that woman again. That's my opinion. And I'd hope that, you know, I'd hope that someone else would do that. That makes sense. You know, if you're in an abusive relationship, try your damnedest to get out of it, because it fucking sucks. And there's some people that they can't get out of an abusive relationship, and I get that. But Amberlynn, you were living as pretty much a freeloader at that house at the time. You had no job. You had no attempts to get a job. You were living pretty much abandoned because your family didn't want you back. If you really wanted to get out of there, there were homeless shelters in that area, I assume. Because I live in a small, dirt poor town, and there's a homeless shelter about 2 or 3 miles away from where I'm currently at. I feel like you're making an excuse for this one, Amber. I really do. Of course, not surprising, but let's continue.
For a little bit there, I kind of felt like I was trapped in a cage. I loved this girl, but I didn't love her right. Everything about it was unhealthy. It is so hard to describe. The only people who can feel this way and understand what I'm saying is people who have been in an abusive relationship. It is, as much as like your boyfriend or your girlfriend will hit you, you still love them, and it's so unhealthy. And I just want to tell you guys from firsthand that if anyone emotionally hurts you, sexually hurts you, or physically hurts you, don't stand for it. Don't, because it ruins you. And through everything, like, you find it so hard to trust people, and it's so hard to open up, and you have this like guard up that could really just mess up your world. And it's not good. It's not. And I know how hard it is. Like, if you're in an abusive relationship, I know how hard it is, because you trust in your heart and in your soul that they'll change, and you start to kind of accept the love you think you deserve. And I promise you so much that you deserve so much more than what you're getting. Nobody, and I mean nobody, deserves to be hit by their boyfriend or girlfriend, or their wife or husband. Nobody. And I feel like a lot of the time, since I am a lesbian, like, abusive relationships in like the lesbian community aren't as like, what's the word for it? Aren't as like, oh no, compared to like if you're in a heterosexual relationship, but it's just the same. Like, or if it's two guys, like, you should not be hurt. Like,
while yes, Amber is completely correct here, abusive relationships inside the LGBT community are prevalent, and they aren't as widely reported as straight relationships with abuse. That's also not an excuse for not attempting to go out with it, not attempting to try to fix it, try to do something. You've admitted here earlier to lying to your partner that you weren't attracted to them at that time. You weren't sexually attracted, which is also a form of abuse, I believe. You know, you should be honest in a relationship. A relationship is a two-way street. You have to communicate with your significant other, and your significant other has to communicate with you. And yes, sex is a part of a human relationship. That's not entirely a bad thing either. You should be wanting to have sex with your partner. You should be attracted to them physically, I believe. And Amber, if you weren't attracted to her, you should have said to her straight up, hey, I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not feeling this moment, this partnership. I'm not feeling it. Cassidy would probably have been happier that you had said that to her. Maybe. I don't know. I can't read a mind. I don't think that if you're in love with someone in a form where you consider it a relationship, you should be lying to them about how sexually active you want to be with them. That's my opinion. There's a couple more clips from Amber we're going to get into, and then we're going to talk about the more juicy shit. So,
God, I'm just so grateful that I left that unhealthy environment. And I just want to say, Crystal never physically hurt me. Destiny never physically hurts me. And I feel like that is the most precious gift. That's sad to say, but I've been through such freaking hell, you know, in my whole life that, you know, being with someone who actually doesn't want to hurt me, that feels fucking awesome, because I feel like every kind of relationship I've been in my life, whether it be like with my brother or like a friend, I feel like whatever it may be, they've hurt me in some type of way, and it's almost like they got off on it and enjoyed it. But I'm stronger than that, and I know what is right and what is wrong, and I will learn a lot. I have learned a lot being with Cassidy, and if you guys are wondering, yes, she is now a he, and it's been a long time, 6 years since I was with her, and
something interesting there. I think we caught her in a little bit of a lie, folks. Our first time we caught her in a lie. She says that Cassidy never hit her, so then what do these two clips mean?
Me by the throat, and she started yelling at me. Cassidy started hitting me really hard. It was probably one of the worst ever.
Okay, now let's get to the final bit of Amberlynn's video, because I just want to get this part over with, because we're already about the 30-minute mark, and I want to get to the Casey video, so here we go, let's wrap this up.
We talk on Facebook here and there, and things are very different, and she regrets everything she did. But I'm kind of at that point where I might cry about it now, but I've healed. I have, but it's definitely like memories that make me sad, but I've healed from it, and I'm stronger because of it, and I've learned because of it, and I know that the bad in my life made me wiser, and I'm able to key into people more. I'm rambling, but just know that if you're in an abusive relationship, you're not alone. I've been there, and you deserve so much more for yourself. And I just figured I'd share this story with you guys because that is a big part of my life that I went through. Me and Cassidy were together for 4 years before I was like, closing the door, I'm done. So, and that also goes for like if you are forced in a relationship to have sex, that is not okay. Not okay, and I will consider it rape, because it does not matter at all that if we were in a relationship or that we're lesbian, she forced me. And a lot of people can question, how is that possible? It's very possible. And it made me feel so like degrading and gross and grummy, and I'm done. But I just figured I'd share this with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Like I said, Amberlynn's message, it's an understandable message, what she says at the end, and I agree with it. If someone's abusing you, you shouldn't put up with that, and it's rape if, you say no to somebody, even in a relationship. Now, Casey's video, and I'm gonna put a couple forewarnings here. One, I cut this to hell and back to make it palatable, because the audio pissed me off. Two, I also decided to not use the entirety of the video. There's going to be a card on screen now, and down below in the description there is a link to go watch the full video. It is 30 minutes long. I couldn't use the whole thing, and I had to cut it to where all the little idiosyncrasies, like the breathing and shit like that, was cut out and cut down. On screen right there is the timeline between what I cut out and the full video, just so you can see what I had to deal with. Like I said before, if you want the full video, it is down in the description on that card that just popped up earlier. We're gonna get into it with the first clip now.
Today, I was told by my fiance while she was at lunch for work that someone messaged her on Facebook, and it was a link to a video. It was a video of my ex Amber, and I asked her what about it, because me and Amber broke up 6 years ago, and I don't care to have contact with her. Yes, she's messaged me and tried to add me on Facebook. I won't add her. I've added her once before. We tried to be friends, but it didn't work out when she started trying to add my mom and my best friend, and I asked her why, and we got an argument. I'm just like, you know what, I can't do this. This is, I can't even be your friend at all. I can't, you're trying to add all these people on my Facebook that you argued with and tried to keep me away from when we were together. So, but she's trying to add me. I won't at her. She's messaged me. I won't really respond. It's very short. So I was curious why about this video. And I was like, what is it? Because I don't really care what she does in her life. Her life is hers. My life is mine. We've moved on. It's been 6 years. But my fiance told me that she's calling me an abuser and a rapist. That got my blood boiling because that's not true. 100% not true. It hurt a lot. And I asked her, when did she post this video? It was back in May. Well, I didn't know. See, she told me she had a YouTube video. I didn't care to know. Whatever, it was her life. I didn't want to get involved in her life. Our life is not on the same track anymore.
Something that immediately strikes me with how Casey, how he says things. He's very serious, on the point, and it's unlike Amber, where she's bouncing around 40 different things and you can see her eyes darting around the goddamn screen the entire time. Casey very much seems on the point, directed, knows exactly what she's wanting to say, and I believe Casey. I really do. Now, Casey, as we get into it, obviously, Amber, at least from that, poses it's very weird to add someone's family members that, you were dating at one point, and you were, bitching at, complaining at them. I think it's very weird to add those family members. That's kind of creepy, I think. Anyways, that's not the serious part. We're getting into the serious part, so.
But for this video to be posted, it pissed me off to no end. My fiance got home. We watched it. I had to pause it a few times to calm down. Everything in that video was such bull that I can't even describe the bullshit that was in that video. Now, the time we were dating, when we started dating, I should say, I was 15 years old. 15 when we met. She's 2 years older than me. We were together from the time I was 15 to the time I was 18 years old. When I first met her in person, it was in California, because me and my mom went to California to visit my nana, and she lived in California, so she came and visited for a little, which was cool. We had a good time, it was a good time. No, I was 15. So we had a good time. Oh no, I was 16, sorry, because my birthday passed. But I met her online at 15. I met her in person at 16.
So, as Casey just said there, they started dating when Casey was 15, and Amber would be 17 then. So Amber said in the previous parts of the video that she was 18 when she had to move in with him. She moved in with a 16-year-old. Let's just think about that. Moved in with a 16-year-old. I can definitely understand why my mother would be pissed then. That is the most awkward fucking thing I've ever heard. That's so weird. Why would you want to do that? I would have definitely went to a shelter then. Amber's a little kooky, a little strange. We got some more we're gonna go through here, so
Well, it wasn't bad. Our relationship wasn't bad. We talked a little bit. It was pretty good. It was fine in the beginning. After meeting her for the first time in July in California, she was going to come down for a month because I was going to take her to an anime convention. Stay a month, whatever. She was supposed to go back. I never heard the conversation on the phone. But but this is one of the truths. One, her grandmother said she couldn't come back. I was 16 at the time. My mom was mad. We didn't have a lot of money. When she's talking about her small apartment, we didn't have a lot of money. We were poor. It didn't have a bedroom door. It was like a studio with like a wall breaking off the living room and bedroom. But we didn't have money. I didn't grow up with money. So that's all we could afford. So she had a 16-year-old to raise. Plus, she was just getting into my mom was just getting into a new relationship. And then all of a sudden, there's someone else that's there that she needs to make sure to feed. Yeah, it made her mad. But I fought for Amber to be there because she didn't have nowhere to go.
So what Casey's mom did was incredibly nice. Nicer than she probably had to be, if I'm being honest. If it had been my mother or most people's mothers, they would have probably said, fuck no, and kicked Amberlynn Reid out. She did something incredibly nice. Amber took advantage of that, essentially, if I'm being honest. Amber took pretty good advantage of that. We're gonna get to the next clip, though, so.
Now, it was because of me that she stayed. My mom didn't want to. But what was wrong is her mom didn't really stand up to her own mother. It was whatever. I fought for her to stay. I didn't want her to be homeless. I felt that was the right thing to do. I don't want to say I regretted it, But the things that happened afterwards, I kind of regretted our whole entire relationship. And I hate to say it, but I do regret our whole entire relationship. I do. It was probably 4 months after we started living together. We were up one night. I was watching something on TV, a music video, I believe. I don't remember why we argued. I don't remember the argument, but she grabbed my arm with her nails. First time any physical that was negative, and I remember that clearly. It shocked me really, really bad, and it was just I didn't know what to make of it. Really, I'm 16 years old. I didn't know what I knew what physical abuse was, but not really. So I was a kid, I was a child, so I just assumed, okay, I made her mad. When I would get my mom mad, she'd spank me, or she'd get my ear, or the things a mom would do, a dad would do, behave, So that shocked me, but nothing really happened a little while after.
We got the allegation that Amberlynn Reid was the first one to abuse Casey, not the other way around. That paints a bigger picture for what's about to come up through these next clips, and it paints Amberlynn Reid as a little sketchy the way she's claimed everything's happened. I believe Casey more than I believe Amber myself.
Now the thing what she said with the laundry, that's a big false. Big false. Want to know how I know that? Because me and my mom would do her laundry. Me and my mom would go do laundry. She wasn't getting up to do laundry. She maybe did it a couple of times, a handful of times, probably counting on my one hand. She didn't do it all the time. At all. And me dropping the bag and choking her, I never, ever did that. Ever. What's the reason for me to do that? I didn't do it. And I don't know where this story came from. I didn't do it at all. The places she said about being hit, those were on me. Those were the exact places she hit me. I was the one being abused. And I will say this, I may have laid a hand on her a few times. That was in self-defense. I didn't do it, and I damn well did not rape her. I did not rape her. Period.
Now, as someone who has done cursory glances into the history of Amberlynn Reid, Amberlynn does have a history of lying, making excuses for things. As we saw in her last video, and as we'll see with her rebuttal to this video, she has a notable history of jamming her foot so far down her throat that she's coughing up toenails the next day. And it's baffling on why she would, one, bring out these accusations, especially if they're false, later on, 6 years later. Two, baffling on how she accused Casey. This would have been something for her to talk about sooner, I think, but she didn't, which was mind-boggling considering what her channel's about and how she talks about pretty much anything and everything that she can. Two, Amberlynn is a very strange individual when it comes to her internet history and her relationship history. So I don't know, all of this is interesting, but we're gonna get into the next clip here because the next clip's pretty fucking juicy.
One time when my mom and Dave were out, I don't know why we argued, but I was put on the bed. She wailed on me. Beat me real bad. I remember this clear as day. Our bed was in the living room. Next to the bed was a dresser. In front of the dresser was a table. Between the table and the bed was her over me, wailing on me. Did I fight back? Nope, not that time. Why? Because she kept calling me an abuser. So I just took it. I took it. Then she took off outside to the bus stop. And I just laid there. What just freaking happened? What just happened? I didn't even know. At that point, I was 17 years old.
Let's think about how incredibly disgusting this is. You're 19 years old, and you're beating on your 17-year-old fucking girlfriend. What the fuck? Why would someone do that? I cannot fathom. Amber, why would you climb on top of another girl and beat the shit out of her if you supposedly loved her? I can't understand this kind of logic where, if you're really in love with someone, you would never get on top of them, and even if you love them just as a friend, never get on top of someone and start wailing on them, beating them. It's incredibly disgusting. And then you do it to a 17-year-old who definitely didn't ask for it, definitely didn't deserve that. My mind is fucking boggled by this kind of shit. But yes, Amber had essentially, in her own story, at least according to Casey here, had flipped the tail. Instead of Amberlynn being the one who's innocent and being abused, she was instead abusing Casey, who at the time was again underage, which is incredibly disgusting. I cannot fathom the idea of beating your spouse, let alone beating your 17-year-old spouse. This is just odd, you know? Anyways, we still have some more clips here that I want to go through, so...
I've gotten hit before. I went to school with bruises up and down my arms. Bruises! My friends asked me, what's wrong? What happened to you? Eventually, they figured it out. So every time I would come to school, upset, in tears, bruised down my arms, hands, cuts, scars, Amber again, shrug. Didn't say anything. They figured it out. My mom figured it out later on, but I'd have to hide it from her. Why? Because I didn't want her mad. I didn't want her upset. I didn't want her to worry about me. She had so much other things to worry about. So I didn't say anything. Maybe I should have. One time, when I was getting ready for school, Amber went through my phone. Want to know how I know that? Went to school. My friend CJ sees me, punches me in the arm. What the fuck did you give Amber my number for? What? I didn't give Amber your number. You don't like her. She don't like you. Why should she have your number? Bitched my friend out, and I texted Amber. The fuck is wrong with you? What the hell? Why are you messaging CJ? How'd you get her number? I went through your phone while you're getting ready for school. Okay, that's messed up. That's slow. I'd never do that to you. That happened. Oh, another thing, she says that she tries to make herself look good. Honestly, when we were first dating, I got a message from her, upset. She made out with a girl while we were dating, while she was still in California. 3 times. Did I get mad? I got upset, but I was 15. So what am I gonna do? Forgive, forget, you're my girlfriend. I was a child. I was dumb. I admit that fully. Being with her, as long as I was so dumb. So dumb.
That, I think, is some incredibly disgusting behavior. Going through someone's phone... See, I'm of the belief that in a relationship, you should trust each other. That's why, don't look at the other person's phone. They won't look at yours. Or if you're that open, you can also just share each other's phones, do that. But the respect is something deserved in a relationship, I feel. If you're in a relationship with someone that you love, I feel like you should be able to share everything with them. But within reason, of course. There's some things, obviously, if you have a surprise or a secret for them, then yeah, I probably don't want to share it immediately. Shit like that. I don't feel that, snooping through someone's phone, taking numbers from it, unless you have to, like you need to call someone important, like somebody's having an issue, a health issue, and you need to inform them of something. There's a difference between what Amber did and then somebody trying to inform someone else of something. It's incredibly disgusting and incredibly, I feel manipulative, I feel like it's very manipulative. I'm sorry, it's how I feel, my personal opinion on it. We got a couple more clips to go. Again, like I said before, watch this video if you want the full context, like the video of Casey's, if you want full context on everything, because there's some stuff I can't provide in this video, because this video would be like an hour and a half long.
Another thing, she says that she made friends with Crystal. She wasn't looking for anything. Let me clear up some things for you between that time. Before Crystal, there was another girl while she was with me. Her name was Paige or something. I know it was a 4-letter name. That Paige girl sent her money. Sent her a Walmart gift card. She sent her things while she was with me. Why did she send her things? Because she made me out to be a monster. Made me look like a monster. So she thought she had to play superhero and save Amber when she didn't even know what the hell was going on at all. Well, not one bit. And then I forgot why her and Paige broke up. Not really broke up, but stopped talking. I think Paige got tired. And then she met Crystal. Now, she was talking to Crystal about 6 or 7 months before we broke up. No, actually, probably longer than that. Probably almost a year. Talking to her almost a year before me and Amber broke up in 2011.
Now, what that behavior screams to me is, 1, Amber is manipulative, desperately trying to get money and things from other people instead of working on her own. Which the next clip, which is the final clip, that'll explain a bit too, so buckle up for that. 2, I feel talking to other people when you're in a relationship with someone else is an incredibly rude violation of the sanctity of the concept of a relationship. If you truly loved somebody, this is my opinion, again, I will warn you, my opinion sometimes I'm a little obnoxious, but my opinion is, you know, if you really, even if you kind of care about someone, the best thing you can do is break up with them before you start talking to other people, before you start looking towards finding someone else. When you're just doing that, that's incredibly disgusting and it's sickening. It's sickening to me. I can't understand why people do that. You know, if you really don't like someone anymore and you really want to break it off with them, the best thing you can do, the nicest thing you can do, is just walk away. You know, best thing you can do is just get out of that and don't hurt the other person. You know, and that's what Amber did. Amber hurt this girl when she was maybe 17, almost 18 at that time. And then she starts talking to another girl for at least, as she knows, 6 months. Which, why? Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just try to find someone else and just say, hey, I'm sorry, this isn't working out? I feel like that's incredibly sick and disgusting to just talk behind someone's back. I don't know. That's just me. Now, the next clip is some comedy fucking gold and will be the last clip of this video from Casey. So, here we go.
So, while Crystal was talking, Crystal bought her so many things while we were together. So many things. I mean, the one that stands out, because it's the most messed up one, most messed up memory, was the freaking iPod Touch, the second generation one. She was on the phone with her. Like, there was an argument starting. So she goes outside talking to her. Comes in. Oh, I made her cry. What happened? What made her cry? What the hell? And she was telling me how Crystal was gonna buy her an iPod Touch. And the argument was over how much gigabytes it had. Seriously, she was gonna buy her a pretty low gigabyte one at 4.8, the standard gigabyte. And she got mad because Crystal asked, do you want this certain gigabyte or the 32 one, you know, the highest one? And she told Crystal, asking me that is like asking if you want a pink purse. She was so rude about that. It wasn't just, she went off after saying the pink purse thing. She went off on this poor girl and made her cry because Crystal asked a simple question, do you want this X amount of gigs or the highest one? And Amber was so disrespectful about it. Crystal cried. She bought her it was over $200. Over $200 this girl is spending on Amber. That's not even with her yet. And she's like that.
Now that is incredibly just disrespectful and really fucking scummy. Imagine, you're dating someone, right? And they go behind your back to talk to someone else, to date someone else, and then to insult that person in front of you because they didn't buy you an iPod with 32 gigabytes. Amber, why would you ever be so fucking petty? It's a free iPod. Hell, there have been scammers for years saying, congratulations, you won. Desperately trying to sell people iPads that aren't really iPads. That'll just give them a Trojan virus. And you are so petty, so much of a fucking asshole, that the only thing you can do when someone offers you an iPod that you don't deserve is to bitch about it. I cannot believe that kind of shit, but in a way I can, because you're kind of an asshole from what I've seen. So anyways, as we're about to wrap up this video, I need to obviously touch on her slam poetry was her only rebuttal. She deleted the first video we saw and uploaded this. I added a little joke to add some humor to it. I hope you like it. Anyways, let's roll with that.
RAPE, rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. Rain and petals, eavesdrop. I used the wrong word. My mental hygiene has been rotten and stirred. Abuse in the picture frame, put on a smile, what I see behind the fake. Glass reflecting, noise destroying, shimmer clatter, frame breaks. I don't understand your left hand connected to your heart, but it's so cold enough to ruin me. Listen, my heart doesn't beat for you, I don't bleed for you, I don't need you. Social media needs this, a drama story, something to decipher, something to dissect, to entertain, to observe, to twist and to melt over. It's not fair for strangers to pick a side to bash and a side to hate, a side to love and a side to hash.
And for that we wrap up the... Oh, hang on, I'm getting a news alert from a PewDiePie. What is this? Hang on here, let's pull him in.
Special news segment. special news segment. Special. Good evening, I'm Poppy Harlow, here for your special news segment. What am I talking about? Well, of course, BetterHelp. You've already heard about it from your favorite YouTuber.
BetterHelp.
View BetterHelp.
BetterHelp.
There is a list of over 100 YouTubers who have promoted this website. It's been all over Reddit. You have really questionable videos of YouTubers saying,
I suffer with binge eating, which I do want to talk to you guys about because I was officially diagnosed with binge eating disorder by my therapist.
I was officially diagnosed by their therapist. Okay, who diagnosed you?
If you guys have ever heard of BetterHelp.com.
Oh really? So you were officially diagnosed by a therapist. Therapists should not diagnose you, by the way. And BetterHelp themselves say that, but still, apparently, it happens.
Thank you, Felix. Very cool. However, for now, we're going to hold off on that subject and the GoFundMe subject, because that's going to be saved for a later video, because this one's already literally almost an hour, and I'm tired of hearing Amberlynn Reid's voice, so we're going to roll into our Patreon outro, which is the first time I've done this in almost a month, it feels like. Jesus. So we're going to roll into our Patreon outro, and we're going to read off some names here. At our $10 pledge, we have both Fee and Cassandra, new people. For our $4.99 tier, we have Aslan, Typhoid Turntable, and Ichi. And then in our $1 tier, we have Sydney, Charlie, Luana, Lyra, Stephen Mayer, and the Bean of England. Thanks everybody for the incredibly long, dealing with the incredibly long wait for this video. I've been working on this one a little bit longer, and I'm gonna say there's some personal stuff that kind of held me back a little bit right now. But there was also the Modern Warfare beta, which is why this didn't come out on the day I planned it. Came out a little later. But I'm glad everybody's going to enjoy it, hopefully. This was incredibly long, and it was going to be longer. I actually put up a poll, and a majority of the YouTube votes were for it to be longer. But I decided against it, because I was already doing this video. It was already kind of nuts, plus I already planned on streaming later this week. So I was like, okay, hold it back, figure out what's the best way to do it, and go from there. And just focusing on the allegations of rape against her, I thought was a better way than just to make it this long, drawn-out video, because not everybody wants to hear this, and I don't blame them. So, if you enjoyed this, hit like, go down in the description and watch both of those videos. I've linked them both down there, because they're long videos, and I just want people to be able to watch them so they know that what I took from that one video from Casey was not taken out of context and was connected to things in the video that I thought matched. We're going to do another video soon on Ray Diaz, the habitual scumbag of Instagram. So if you liked this, again, hit like, hit subscribe, the bell icon there. Merch is coming soon. Also, an announcement video on a fan art contest is coming soon. So, yeah. Alright. Take it easy, everyone. Have a good day.